The architectural structure assigned to me is the Basilica of Saint Denis, which is just a little bit north of Paris, France. Which makes the building so important is that it's considered the very beginning of Gothic architecture, basically the style that later led to famous cathedrals like Notre Dame. The part of the basilica we focus on was built between 1135 and 1140, and the person behind all of this was Abbot Suger. Suger was not just a religious leader, he was also a political powerhouse. He wanted to renovate the older Romanesque church and turn it into something totally new. Part of his motivation was religious because Saint Denis is the burial place of French kings and a major pilgrimage site, but part of it was also about showing the power and pride of France. The renovation centered on the ambulatory and radiating chapels, basically the back end of the church, where the pilgrims would walk around. The materials used were mostly stone, but the big innovation wasn't the material, it was how the stone was used. With new techniques like ribbed vaulting and pointed arches, the builders were able to make taller, thinner walls and a much more open floor plan. Everything was designed to create a smooth flow of movement and to bring in as much light as possible. What really sets Saint Denis apart are its artistic features, both inside and out. On the outside, you can really see the signs of what would become Gothic style: pointed arches, a more vertical design, and detailed sculptures. But the inside is where everything really comes to life. Abbot Suger believed that the light was a path to the divine, so he wanted a space to feel bright, colorful, and almost heavenly. To make that happen, the builders used ribbed vaults and pointed arches, which allowed them to install these huge stained glass windows. These windows were not just pretty, they told stories. They showed biblical events, saints, and symbolic images. When sunlight passed through them, the whole interior glowed with color. Imagine walking into a stone building in the 1100s and suddenly seeing walls made of light. It must have been breathtaking. The ambulatory is especially neat because of how open it feels. Instead of solid, heavy walls, the design uses slender columns and arches that create a sense of movement and rhythm. It is one of the first times this kind of open flow appears in European architecture. So overall, the character of the Basilica of Saint Denis is really defined by light, height, and openness. Even today, when you walk inside, the whole place feels kind of weightless, like the building is lifting upward. It's both peaceful and dramatic at the same time. What makes Saint Denis so important to art history is that it started something totally new. Almost all the features we associate with Gothic architecture, stained glass, ribbed vaults, pointed arches, radiating chapels, were first brought together here. You can really feel how much Abbot Suger wanted the church to inspire people spiritually and emotionally. And because this building was so influential, it became a model for so many later Gothic masterpieces. Saint Denis wasn't just a renovation, it was a space that launched a whole architectural movement.